Now you might be thinking, Specsavers, that's a bit weird. Why are we talking to you about local marketing plans? And I will come on to explain that. But first of all, just a little bit about me. So I've worked at Specsavers for 5 years now in various different roles, mainly digital and customer relationship management, and more recently in this role. Before that, I was marketing director at Pizza Hut. So we know a lot about local marketing because our competitors were one-man bands, basically, that we were competing against. And I know a lot about pizza as well, hence the belly. And before that, I was brand director at Compare the Market. So a bit of a mixed bag of experience. So hopefully you'll find the talk today interesting. Please do raise your hands, as said, and any questions, let me know. So making the most of your local marketing plans. So what we're going to go through is why Specsavers. Also, what marketing is. So there's a big and forgive me if I'm telling you to suck eggs because I clearly don't know you guys, but there's a big misconception about marketing. It's not just promotion, it's lots of other things. And I'm sure you guys know a lot of that already, but it's probably just worth a bit of a refresh. And then how to. So just some tips and tricks about how we can know our customer without spending loads and loads of money to do so. How content is king, especially nowadays. A bit about digital, PR and social media, which has changed massively, even in the last 3 years, never mind in the last 20 years since I've been doing it. And targeting and using free stuff, which there's so much out there on the market. So again, some tips on that. And then how to measure and optimize and continually improve. So, why Specsavers? So, Specsavers is actually lots and lots of local businesses. So we're made up of 950 stores in the UK and Ireland, plus some from abroad as well. I look after the UK and Ireland and a few in Spain as well. But we're basically one-man bands that all put money into a pot and they use the Specsavers branding. They take advantage of our supply chain, of our HR, of our legal, of our marketing. So we do all the sort of like heavy lifting behind the scenes for these businesses to thrive. So it's a little bit like a franchise, but they're not actually just buying the license, they own the business. And this is a campaign that we've recently just launched, and it's about the fact that we are a bunch of one-man bands sitting under the Specsavers umbrella. Because we did loads and loads of research from a customer point of view. And we said, to those people who didn't come to Specsavers, why don't you come to Specsavers? Well, there's not one near me, or there's no availability, or et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the reason is they go to the local optician because we support the local guy in the local town. Well, actually, we're the local guy in the local town. And when we explained that to the customers, they were like, God, I did not know that. I just thought you were a big green glasses supermarket. So what we wanted to do is get out there and spend an awful lot of money in the last couple of days, and it's going to continue for 6 weeks, telling people that your care is our business. It's these guys' business, Marcus and Kay. It's Judah Mukesh on the right-hand side, and it's Jonathan and Diana. So those guys are husband and wife. Those are best mates who met at uni, and these guys are just, those guys are husband and wife. Ooh, that's awkward. And the other guys are just mates who are business partners. So there's loads and loads of one-man band who set up businesses. They're all clinicians, so they're optometrists or audiologists, and they set up a business under the Specsavers umbrella. So what I'm trying to sort of say is people want to shop local. Even like the big people, the people who shop with big companies who want the best value product, they're still really interested in shopping local. This is our advert.
How long's it been then? We met about 8 years back. What? Yeah, serious relationship.
He has this way of looking into my eyes.
Knows how to treat me. Gentle, considerate.
Did I tell you he owns his own business?
I think he's going to pop the question.
Better or worse?
Better.
Because our partners own their stores, they put your care first, which can make them rather popular.
Apparently, he's seeing half the town.
Using the Specsavers wit and warmth to talk about, somebody who owns their own business. So, on to marketing and why it's relevant and why I'm here. So, marketing is about the 7 Ps, and I'll explain that in a minute. But this is a diagram that I found on the internet, and I think it really, really brings to life what marketing is. Because many businesses start here, which is about launching a product and selling it. Most marketeers, like some people I worked with previously, start at promotion. So marketing's all about press ads and it's all about getting leaflets in people's hands. It's not. You start right from the top. So it's the diagnosis. Who is our customer? Who's the target market? Who's going to buy from us? You do market research, and that doesn't have to be really, really formal stuff. It's literally just asking people what they want. You look at targeting. Who am I going after? Is it the 60-plus-year-old? Is it the 20-something-year-old that's interested in style? And then you go into price, where we're going to sell it. Is it on the internet? Is it in our stores? Is it through affiliates like Etsy and people like that? Am I going to discount it? What's the promotional strategy? What media targeting am I going to use? All of this stuff we need to think about as, well, small business owners, but also as marketeers too. So we have people back at the ranch thinking every single day about each of these elements. So we have a product team thinking about user experience when they come into store. We have a people team who look at employee, what our brand stands for, how much we're paying our colleagues. Are they happy colleagues? What are they wearing? Does it represent the brand? Physical evidence, what's the smell like in stores? Many moons ago, I had a Saturday job in the UK working for Thomas Cook. And we launched this big superstore, holiday superstore it was called, and you'd go in and it smelled of suntan lotion and it was gorgeous. And the average transaction value and the conversion rate of people who bought a holiday by going into that shop versus one of our other shops was absolutely huge, because people buy on their senses, especially when it evokes memories and feelings like a holiday. So all of this stuff we have to think about as business owners. So when we do think about the bottom bit, about how we promote our business, when we've got all our product and place sorted, how do we promote that across the marketing funnel? And the funnel is basically this. So it's everything from making people aware of our product to actually consider it. So in Specsavers language, oh, I didn't know you did home visits. I didn't know opticians came out to your house if my mum can't get out of her house. To considering it, okay, I want an eye test. Do I go to Vision Express? Do I go to Specsavers? Do I go to John down the road? To converting them, okay, I'm ready to book. When can I have an appointment? I can only do Saturday mornings. You don't offer me Saturday mornings. To loyalty, once they've been into store, how do we keep them warm? How do we make them come back? How do we make sure they've had a really great experience? And they tell people about it. Advocacy, that's what people always forget. And that's the biggest powerful marketing tool you can have. And there are many ways to blow that up now. So we work across the whole funnel, and a lot of it is literally starting from basics, just knowing your customer and knowing your catchment area. So detail is really key, especially for a bricks and mortar business. So this is Specsavers in Guernsey. We all know it. It's just over there. I've got these glasses, and you've got your glasses from there. Because Specsavers glasses are my love. But what is it next to? There's a little kiosk, isn't there, facing it? Okay, people stop there then. So the window has to be really attractive. It has to get people in. It's next to, there's an optician's round the corner. That's a one-man band. Okay, he offers premium products. Where's the bus stop? Where do people loiter? It's near the library. Okay, there's loads of people loitering around the library. How do we get people in? So it's really understanding the catchment and the detail of all that. And when you've got 950 stores like we have a team that specifically does that. It's not just looking on Google Maps. It's actually physically going out and feeling the area, parking in the car park and seeing what's going on, what sort of customers are going in. So all of that sort of stuff. And then it's knowing your competitors. So where is the Vision Express around the corner? Where is the one-man band? Where is the, I don't know, even other things, like if they're selling ancillary products, the contact lens solutions are sold in Boots. Where's the Boots? So again, it's knowing where all of the different competitors fit into your catchment, and then knowing your customer. Now, we use loads of scientific tools because we're a big brand, we've got the money to do that. But it's really as simple as what sort of people come into the store and creating pen portraits of it. So pen portrait is a bit of a picture of a person. So this is some tools we use through Experian, but you don't need to do this. So we have here a profile of city dwellers. So these are people who earn a lot of money, they work in the city, they live in certain areas of the UK, and we know what they spend, we know what they eat, we know what media they consume, we know everything about them so we can target them. That's what?
The high status.
High status, yeah. I thought you said that's 80s, the picture is a bit 80s.
Well,
And then these guys are younger people. So these are, oh God, I can't remember what they are now. I think they're singletons, I can't remember what they're called, but it's a demographic that basically younger people, rents rooms, rents privately, probably lower income, bit more interested in tech, a bit more interested in booking online. So again, you can profile these customers to sort of go, right, is my product appealing to my target audience? If your target audience is that person, you need to be online. If it's that person, you need to be online, but you probably need to be on a mobile device as well. Make sure everything's bookable online. Make sure that, you answer the phone in one ring. Make sure you've got the stylish products in there versus probably the cheaper end products here. So again, it's knowing your customer, knowing your catchment. But insight is also really, really key in such a broader sense. So knowing your customer, but what is their basket mix? What do they actually buy? And the reason I've put olives on there is because there's a really famous case studies, which I think it was Sainsbury's. It was ages and ages ago. And they found out they weren't selling this particular brand of olives and they were a pain to get into the store and they cost loads and loads of money. They just weren't breaking even, these olives. So because shelf space was so premium, they took out the olives. And guess what? They lost their super, super premium customer because that customer, you could only get those olives from Sainsbury's. So they lost the whole basket of that customer's shop, which was worth, a couple of £100 a week. So it's understanding basket mix, not just kind of the core product that the customer buys. And then pain points. So within any customer journey, there's always pain points. In Specsavers, it's people don't like waiting. They turn up for an appointment, they've got an hour on their lunchtime. Yep, exactly. You can't keep people waiting, especially the younger demographic. They won't have it. But what are the moments of delight? So how can you reduce the pain points? So is it keeping them busy if someone's waiting? Is it just managing expectations? Is it doing a lot of priming before the customer gets there? So if there's forms to fill in before the customer gets there, send it to them on email. Make them do it, in the comfort of their own home when they're a bit more kind of chilled out about filling in a form. But also, what are the moments of delight? So I worked for a holiday company when I first started out in marketing, and it was basically coach trips for older people. Brilliant, brilliant company. And we did so many surveys, what do you like, what you don't like. But it's only when you really, really drill down to people, they talked about things that were really important to them that you would never, ever, ever get from just doing a survey. So these particular trippers that we talked to, we're talking about it's quite stressful when you get on the coach. So you're going around Europe with the same people for 20 days, you're visiting all the different, it's quite stressful. Do you sit in the same place? What if somebody's sat in your place? What happens then? Because I want to be at the front, I want to be at, but I want to leave my stuff. And it's all these kind of worries that you need to really get to the bottom of with your customers. So guess what? We sort of said you've got an allocated place on the coach, so everybody knows where they are, how much to tip the driver. So all of that nonsense was taken away from the customer journey. Now that's not traditional promotion in marketing, but it could be. That could be one of your USPs. If the customer's worried about getting to the airport, pick them up in a taxi. It's that kind of thing and charge them for it. So all of that sort of stuff we need to think about. But moving on to how we promote. So content is everything nowadays. There's so many more platforms versus what there used to be. When I started out in marketing, you did a TV ad, it reached, 20 million people or whatever in the ad break of Corrie. It's not like that anymore. Corrie gets about, 4 or 5 million, and it costs a blooming fortune as well. But, marketing's come on so much. People are dual screening, they've got no attention span, and we need to reflect that in our promotion. So, first things first, USP. What's your USP versus everyone else? I've done a screenshot of Apple versus Microsoft. So Microsoft reckon they're easy to use, they've got great attention to detail, they're private and secure, they have expert curation, and family sharing is a big thing. So Microsoft basically are an open platform. They let everybody use it, everybody share it, it's all very accessible. Apple is elitist. It's only the cool kids can use it, it's all locked down. If you've got a Apple smartphone, it has to link to your Apple Watch. You can't necessarily link it to an Android. So what's your USP? We need to really, really define that in today's market and really, really talk about it. And then be local and be proud. So, companies like Etsy exist for a reason. So it's for local makers who haven't got a platform or don't have loads and loads of marketing money to talk about their product. But people want to buy local products. So go out and talk about, you know, the Guernsey produce that you produce, or the, you know, handmade stuff. Like, what's really, really special about your product? Like, really big that up and use affiliates like Etsy to talk about it. And for those bricks and mortar businesses, there needs to be a reason not to shop online. So I've done 2 pictures of Toys R Us here, which is obviously no longer. Toys R Us used to look like that when I was a kid. It used to have like stuff you can play with. You could ride your bike up the store, you could choose your toys. It was so exciting. They stopped all that and they just made it shelves. And there was hardly any staff there to help, and you couldn't open any of the packaging. I might as well just buy it from Amazon. And you know what? There are many, many reasons why you do buy it from Amazon, because it comes straight to your door and you don't have the hassle of parking and blah, blah, blah. Cats, always have animals. But talk with personality. So loads of local businesses have a brilliant personality. They stand for something, they've got an interesting story. Bring it to life. I've done a picture of Cats Protection League versus Dogs Trust. Now, Dogs Trust used to be called Canine Defence League or something like that. I mean, what does that even mean? GSPCA are here. Don't judge me. But Cats Protection League have done nothing with their branding, nothing with their personality. And as a cat lover, I think that's really sad, because Dogs Trust have owned it. You can sponsor a dog, you can sponsor Stitch here, and you get an update from Stitch, and he sends you a postcard, and you know, you can even visit him in the centre if you're that way inclined. And you're like buying into something, it's coming to life. People want to do that. They don't really understand that. Which cat am I sponsoring? What is that doing? What's the money doing? So don't be shy in bringing out the personality, and remember the value exchange. People love something back. So if it is the calendar of the puppy, or the, you know, little certificate to say I sponsor Stitch, brilliant. You know, put it on your fridge, have it in somebody's home. It's a constant reminder of your brand. And speaking of branding, great branding delivered consistency. So this is a local company, obviously. Even when they're talking about price, which, you know, we have to do in this day and age, it looks nice, it looks like the same branding, it appeals to a certain target market, it looks cool, it looks fresh, it's vibrant, it's everything the brand stands for. So just make sure it's consistent. And then onto digital. So first things first, digital is so much more than paid ads. Paying to play is quite old-fashioned, really, and it's actually not achievable for a lot of small businesses. So you have to be smart about it, and there are so many ways to do it. First things first is your website. So the website is a shop window. So it's about what your brand is, what you stand for, what your product is, what's unique about it, the cute little animals in the GSPCA, you know, bringing them to life. It's all about, it's basically, if you were to look into a shop window, and we have, you know, 1.1 million people doing that on our website every single week, what do you want them to see? What do you stand for? It could be a commerce site, so if it is, you know, make sure it's slick and it's easy for the customer to use. But it's also an advocacy hub. And Vision Express do this really well, it pains me to say, but they talk about their Trustpilot reviews. They talk about, you know, so-and-so in Coventry recommended them. They looked after my dad really, really well. They bring that to life on their site. So, you know, if you're a brand new customer to them, you're reassured that you'll be looked after. And search engine optimization. So this is super, super important. So all this means is just make sure you have information on your website that Google can find. So if you're based in St. Peter Port next to the statue of the donkey, say it, because Google needs to find it, so put it on the map. If you've got eye tests that are, you know, the best quality in town with OCT machines, say it on your website, because Google will pull it through and put it there if you're lucky. Everybody's got information on their website that Google's, it's called spiders. They go out and they try and find all the information, and then they pull it through into these little ads. And this is not paid for stuff. So basically, you can cheat the system and you can pay to be at the top, and believe me, we do. But also you don't have to in a lot of cases. So about 40% of our traffic, and bearing in mind we do 1.1 million hits a week, that 40% comes from just being clever about what we put on our website. So it's really, we have a team of people doing it, and we have algorithms and all that sort of stuff. You don't need all that. You just need to have a bit of common sense and write it properly. But when you do pay wisely. So what are people searching for? So in our neck of the woods, they're searching for eye tests. It's not advanced eye technology. It's not, I have blepharitis, what should I do? Yeah, there are searches for that, but those are tiny, tiny. Go for the big ones, eye tests, and understand how much people are paying for it. So in your industries, go into your PPC, go into Google, and say, if I was to put 20 quid behind this, and it can be sums that low, what would I get from it? What's the average cost per click? So that every time somebody clicks on that, if you're paying 20p, you'll obviously work out how many clicks you can get and then how many it converts to. And convert literally means booking an appointment or buying something. Sometimes if you don't have a call to action on your site, if it's just literally a shop window saying come to us, you won't necessarily know that, but you should see it in the footfall traffic. You should see it by people walking through the door. I'm sorry, I'm just going to whiz back. This is really key as well. This is called Google My Business. It used to be called, it's called Google Store Visits, I think now. Basically, all of this information here is customer led. So if people are giving you a Google review, so they've been to your business, they leave a comment, they take a photo, it goes on here. You can manipulate that yourselves. So you can upload photos. So if you've got a really dodgy photo, I mean, that one's not great, is it, for Manchester 4? If you've got a really dodgy photo, you can upload it yourself and put something you're really, really proud of, because 10 times as many people see that as click on your link. So, bearing in mind as Specsavers, we have 1 million, 10 million people see those sorts of things. So if you've got a really awful photo, it's not doing your brand any favours. And then socials. So local community groups are amazing to get into. So work out where people are. So if you're, if your customer profile is over 50 and you're a, sports retailer or whatever, where are people going? Where are they talking about it? Is there any community groups like, the bowling club or the football team or what? So you don't necessarily have to sponsor this stuff anymore. You just have to go in and chat to people. Oh, have you thought about coming to Specsavers? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about, and you yourself, not your business, can go in easily and do that. And it's actually quite appreciated because a lot of these people are information seekers and they're just constantly talking on platforms like Facebook. And then influencers. So influencers aren't just, 12-year-olds sat in their bedroom gaming, although, I've got one of them. They're actually people like Mumsnet, they're people like, the WI, they're community groups who just know people. So get involved, go and do a chat at the WI or put a post on Mumsnet about Guernsey with kids or, whatever it might be, just know who these people are. And even other retailers, non-competing retailers, if you can leave your leaflet there or put something on the pinboard or just have a chat with them, do a reciprocal deal, go on their emails, that's really powerful. And then PR. PR is not about a press release anymore. It's not about taking a journalist for lunch and, hoping everything's okay. It's literally talking in industry bodies. So that could be, in my field, it's places like LinkedIn, it's Campaign Magazine, it's Drum Magazine, it's all the marketing type stuff. It could be the Retail Consortium. So again, working with those guys to talk with them. Or it could be backlinks. Now, backlinks, it's not complicated at all. It's literally just putting out a press release or some information to the local press that's got your website on it, or it's got information, or it's got your Instagram page on it. And if it gets picked up by somebody like the BBC, who's obviously huge, it's massive. So we do loads and loads of things like surveys. So, in lockdown, X% of people didn't have their eyes tested. Really, really, really useful information. It's also these guys can use it. So they can pick it up and talk about it for us, which is millions of hits. And then finally, own your town physically. So this is what we do loads and loads of, because that store in Hull that needs volume, they've got a passing trade, stand outside, say, have you thought about having your eyes tested? Do you want your glasses cleaning, or your glasses look a bit wobbly? You know, do you want to come in? Just be nice, and people come back to you. So it's not about the hard sell, but it's also tools and tactics like, you know, leaflets or door drops in the local area. I mean, we pay to get them posted, but you know, you guys don't need to do that. It's about, you know, having 1 or 2 key sites on an out-of-home billboard or a phone box site that's a little bit disruptive. So we've got permission as a brand to do that, because it should have gone to Specsavers. So, you know, eyesight gag, turned it the wrong way, all that sort of stuff. That got shared about 4.3 million times on social media. It really did cost us nothing. It was a back end of nowhere site. Somebody took a picture of it and people just started sharing it. And then window posters or stuff in the windows talking about your offers, your promotion, your style credentials, whatever you want to talk about. And then finally, sweating the free stuff. So I would always say spend wisely, know your audience, and you can just use loads and loads of free activity. So get people through search engine optimization. If you've got a website with loads of great information, people will find it. So look at what people are searching for and make sure the keywords are in there. Look at how you're updating it, linked to social media, because that's all points you get from Google. Target your warm customers first. So if somebody has been into your shop or your business, left their email address, they want information from the brand, do it. Do have a regular communication. Even if they're not buying right now, they might buy in the future. Target fans and followers and use first-party data if you can. So all that means is if somebody is a follower of yours on Facebook, what sort of people are they? Can you buy more people like that in the Facebook space? So if they're all 20-somethings that are all clicking on style content, great, put 20 quid behind it and buy new 20-somethings. So it's all these lookalike profiles. And think about marketing as a whole. So it's not just about the Facebook thing looking different to the email or the store window. It's that whole consistency of brand and who's getting what at what point of time. And then finally, I should say, are you building a relationship or is this short term? So going back to the funnel, is your objective driving awareness for long term, or is it about just bums on seats right now and people in the shop right now? So you kind of have to know what you're doing to know which space to play in, because the marketing you do is very, very different. At the bottom, it'll be offer driven. It'll be about buy now, promotion, sale. At the top, it'll be about what do I stand for? What's my brand all about? And then here's just a few free tools, but honestly, you can Google free tool for CRM. So CRM's customer relationship management. It's a tool to send out your emails. You basically just, put in your customer list and it does a lot of the work for you. You can use MailChimp for that. It's free. Hootsuite can help out with your social media. It can help, you buy different audiences that you can target, and Canva can help with your design. They're really, really basic tools, but they're really, really good. And then finally, measure everything and optimize. So depending on where you are, if you're about driving awareness, you don't need fancy tools like we've got. You just ask people, where did you see us? How do you know about us? You look at the number of PR stories you've got in the local press, how many people are talking about you on social media in those local groups. If it's about converting people, so in the here and now, putting bums on seats, how much web traffic have I got? You can get that from Google Analytics. You just literally, put in your website address and it'll tell you. Or how many people are coming into the shop since you've done the advert. It's kind of really basic stuff, I guess. And then finally, this bit, which everyone forgets about, the loyalty. How many people have you got signed up to your database, and how many people are talking about you in reviews? So if all of that improves, hopefully you should have a successful marketing plan. And then last but not least, I would say always use triggers. So these are completely made up, but we do use something very, very similar for all of our stores. So put in your key targets. So for our stores, waiting time is a big one. If we've got waiting times of 60 days in a Specsavers store, people are going to go elsewhere. They're not going to wait 60 days for an appointment. So what do we do with that? How do we get more staff then to service that? Do we need to open another store nearby? But if it's under 5 days, God, you know what? We need to drive some volume in really quickly because that store is empty. So how do we do that? We'll stand outside the door. We'll be nice to our customers. We'll mail them more. We'll, hopefully get some Mumsnet and places like that to talk about us. So all of these kind of decision trees should lead to different approaches of a plan. So if you've got long wait times and you can't see anybody else, or your shop's mega full and you don't want any more trade at the moment, it's about driving awareness. It's keeping it ticking along so that when you're less busy, you can get people in, or doing stuff in the shoulder seasons. So travel companies do this really, really well. The planes aren't busy just before the summer holidays, so they put on promotions. It's X% off if you take that flight rather than waiting until summer. Versus all the way to the extreme, if you need to drive volume, it's street fighter mentality. It's offers, it's discounts, it's getting as much marketing out there as you can. So horses for courses approach. And finally, try lots and fail fast. It works for us. We've got 950 stores. We've tried so much, and you know what? Some things don't work. Some things really, really do. But it's all about kind of measuring it and keep on improving. Any questions?
I'll come up with a little one. In the world of, even I've found on the social media, the downside is critics or even semi-trolls. You put a post up and there's people who will put something a bit extreme or negative. And that would apply YouTube, possibly Facebook. So I'm kind of saying, do you do podcasts? And if you are using social media, how do you prevent, I don't know, somebody naughty from arrival saying, don't go to Specsavers, come to me, or putting a knocking comment?
Yeah.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's actually less common than you think. So if you're paying for a specific audience, so if you go into Facebook and you say, I want to target 50-year-olds that are customers of your competitor, say, you can do, and they're usually good quality leads. And if they're customers of your competitor, they're interested in that stuff anyway. So like, why would they put abuse on your post? However, you do get the odd idiot who does do that, and you hide it. You can hide posts. It's not good, is it? I mean, you can hide it or you can report it. However, we find a lot that people self-regulate. So if somebody's been nasty on a post, a lot of the time you just leave it and people jump in. People jump in to say, don't be an idiot, or you're disgraceful. And it sort of self-regulates the comments quite a lot. We've got a Facebook group, which is All About Eyes and Ears, it's called. And it's literally a group where people just go on and say, you know, I've noticed something dodgy with my eye. Has anybody else seen that? And people go on and help other people. Yeah, my dad had that. You know, we do nothing. We do nothing. We just sponsor the group. And it just brings so much traffic because it's like, it's just interesting. And it's people who have really, really got that problem moment in time. But yeah, it's a problem. And I'm afraid it's like, you're never going to stop it, but you can do your best to prevent it. Any other questions?
We send out a lot of releases every week, and also get a lot of traction with GSPCA. I've been starting to play with the AI apps that you can get, and they're absolutely fantastic. I just wondered what your opinion was on those.
It depends which ones. So, do you mean to write copy, so things like ChatGPT?
The other day, write the GSPCA sealed rescue release, and I was quoted in it about 5 times and put my email in it. And we do put a lot of content online, so there's a lot to search. But I just wondered what your approach was with them.
We're not using them at the moment, and it's because we're very, very highly regulated. So we'd have to, it's as easy to write it as it is to check it. So, you know, our content's very, very clinical, but there's definitely a place for it. I think personally, you know, at a personal level, I asked ChatGPT to write my kids a bedtime story. This is terrible. But it's always like, make up a story, Mum, and I'm like, I don't know. So I asked it to write it, and it was brilliant. You know, you can put the dog in there, the character of the dog and the cat, and you know, I was in there, she was in there, and you know, it's great. But I think it's horses for course. I think you've definitely got to check it. Anything else?
What about with websites? If you look after your own website, do you have any sort of recommendations for free website builders, or is it better to pay for something that's the foundation of your brand?
So there are tools like WordPress that you can use, which are okay. I think you should look at companies like, what's it called, Ionos and people like that, because it might be a bit more expensive, but it's very component based. So, you know, if you want to show a picture of your brand, a picture of your product, versus, you know, lots of clinical information, you know, you can drag and drop stuff into it and it'll give you stats. So rather than you work out how to go into Google Analytics and say it, you should get a report from a company like that that says, this is how much traffic you've had, this is unique visitors. So are there people just coming back all the time and not doing anything versus unique visitors? And then conversion. So if you've got buttons on there, which it'll build for you, how many people have clicked on it and done something?
Sorry, I didn't hear what that website.
Oh, Ionos. There's loads, but that's IONOS. So if you Google Ionos, other competitors will come up. Just have a look round.
Can I ask your thoughts on websites? I hear two different perspectives. One is keep the work out to a low level versus have lots of content so people know that you know what you're talking about. What are your thoughts on that?
And this is going to feel like a woolly answer, but it depends what it is. So, and it depends what part of the website. So think about Specsavers. What we want to do is we have a landing page visible. So if somebody searches eye test in Google, they click on us, we want them to go through the process ASAP. They want an eye test, they know what they want, no messing about. If somebody searches glaucoma or floaters, or you send them to a different part of the website, a landing page that's got loads of information, it's reassuring, it's got videos, it's got self-help guides, it's got loads and loads of signposting, and it demonstrates your expertise. So I would say that there's no perfect answer. It depends what your product is and what you want to achieve.
How do you satisfy different segments? Because if I was asked, I would say, I remember the good old days of the adverts for Nicholas Parsons. Was it Nicholas Parsons? That's a long time ago. I could do this. Victoria. But I'd say, as a brand, you probably moved up market over the years. There's lots more design and fashion things. So how can you reach out to one market without losing the other?
Yeah.
That's probably something we have in anything to do with the public sector.
Yeah.
That we're trying to appeal to everybody, which can mean lack of universality in reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can become quite vanilla, can't you? I think you've got to have a pinpoint. So if your pinpoint is, I don't know, over 50s, but your secondary market is 30 to 40-year-olds, go for your pinpoint. And you've got the landscape now. So in the past, as I said, it was one TV ad and that was it. You blew your money on the TV ad. Now you can be in those different platforms where the younger people are versus the older people. Older people use Facebook and they use display ads and they loads and loads of PPC. Younger people, spend your money on TikTok. Do something a bit different with that. You can almost like appear to be different brands. So it's actually more easier than it used to be.
Kind of in that same vein, is it worthwhile spending money on print or photo actually or radio? I mean, I know there's all different things and it's probably linked to what you're selling, but if your biggest market is sort of more digital age, is it worthwhile still doing that, leafleting, advertising in the press or...
There's go onto the Experian website and there's a tool called Mosaic, and basically if you know what your catchment is, so if you know I get people from GY8, I'm making that up, look on that and it'll tell you the sorts of people in that area and what their media consumption is. So if they're reading, you know, the Telegraph versus, you know, the Metro, you don't have the Metro here, but the Metro, or they're very digital versus non-digital, and that will give you a clue. Because, you know, there are, so bearing in mind we've got stores all over the UK, there are some in the middle of nowhere, there's no digital media going, there's no digital out of home, very little search volume, you know, on Google. So we're in local press, we do advertorials, we do print, we put leaflets through people's doors. Central London, you would never ever do that because they're just a different beast. So I think it's just going back to understanding your market, and print is there's definitely a place for print.
What does Hootsuite do? I remember Toot Suites and Chitty Chitty. Hootsuite, Suite. I mean, how does it work?
We don't use it. We use a different tool. But basically, what you can do with tools like that is it'll help you with your targeting on social media. So it'll help you know if you've got £100 to spend, you can say the sorts of customers you want, where you can reach them. Is it Facebook? Is it TikTok or whatever? And it'll help you do that and give you the analytics. So how many people saw the ad? How many clicked on the ad? How quickly your spend went. So, in a lot of these things you pay per click or you pay per view. If you put in £100, it could last you a month, it could last you two minutes. So it'll monitor all that for you. Anything else?
What sort of impact does GDPR have on our database consent?
Yeah, quite significant. So yeah, definitely negative. Well, negative from a marketing point of view, but from a privacy point of view, from a customer, it's right, I think. So we can only market where we've got very, very strict permissions to market, and that's across different permissions across SMS or email or post. I think the tricky bit is that everybody adhering to that. So we've had to lock down all of our systems so that the stores can't just go rogue and I'll send out a letter to Mr. Smith. No, you can't. So we've had to centralise a lot of our efforts. But the bigger impact is the cookie, the changes to the cookies and the privacy policy. From Apple. So basically we used to harvest cookies. So somebody came onto our website, we could track them onto different websites and serve them a banner. So if they're on, a shopping website, it'll be, hey, buy your glasses from Specsavers. You can't do that as easily now. So there are different sort of tricks and tools that you can do, but you have to be very, very cognizant of people's privacy. It's right.
That's the end of the questions. Any more? No? Thank you very much. That was really,
thank you. Thanks ever so much. Thank you.